My fellow viewers, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Makasuru TV at a time like this, being on 11th the month of January 2023. As it is usual, I had told you earlier that today we are having our coverage all the way from Nakuru City, and we happen to be joining the Nakuru National School, that is the Nakuru Boys High School, whereby we are trying to get the facilitation on Kenya by the Kenya Drama National and Film Festival. This is our day 3 according to their activities. And at this particular moment, I want to just brief you that the briefing has been very successful. That is based on different genres. And as far as the genres are concerned, this time round, there are many as usual, but I would have liked to just go through some for those ones who are new. Before we can just continue, I would like that I will request you to go into our YouTube account and even Facebook. Find us by Makasoro Production and also log in using the same name, that is Makasoro Production, so that you can subscribe, you can share, you can comment, you can like, and at the end of the day, you can subscribe at least to make us move forward. Content facilitation, as I told you earlier, there are different genres, including the play. We have the cultural creative dance, we have the narrative, we have the mime, we have the spoken word. We also have the modern creative dance. We have the stand-up comedy. We have the soul of us. We cannot forget the dramatized singing game. We also have the choral verse. We have the cultural creative dance. And finally, we have the major one, which is the film. So in as far as the genres are concerned this time around, we could have specialized in every one of them, but because time is limited and talent still cannot allow you to do all those, we majored in film. And as the time goes by, in a few days to come, we are going to produce our film. And during this film, before we produce it, there are some stages which it undergoes. We have a lot of preparations to make, all the way starting from the script, because we all of us understand that the script is the cornerstone in every genre. So at this particular moment, I could have wished to just welcome you into filmmaking, and today I'm going to just touch on some few technical areas which are so much and very important when it comes to filmmaking. To start with, ladies and gentlemen, when talk about film, film is not far much different from cinema. In the cinema, it's just a very simple thing, that is the movement of pictures or pictures in motion. And for you to do film, there are some equipment which you need to have. This one include the camera. You need to have the sound system. You also need to have the lighting system. And I want to believe that those are the key ones. I know there is a lot which is being needed. And of course, we need to have a technician who is a cameraman who is going to operate all these equipment. So as far as you have those equipment, then you are missing something which is very important. You miss a story. And remember, in film is just storytelling. And for you to tell a story, your story must be original in a way that it's one of the stories which has never been watched anywhere, a story which is an idea more so from the matters which are happening in this country or in this world. You need to be addressing immediate problems in the society, and by so doing, then your story must be captivating, your story must be interesting, your story must be educative, and your story must, above all, be entertaining. So, in as far as the story is concerned, once you've realized that you have met all the conditions which are needed, most of the above mentioned ones, then you can go ahead an extra mile and put it on paper. While you are trying to write it, of course, there are some rules which are supposed to be followed, and I don't want to go that route because that's not what I have prepared today to tell you. But I will just try to be specific and direct. And because time is limited, I want to talk about the types of shots in filmmaking. Now that you have happened to have your camera, and at this time round, remember we have different types of cameras. And in this film industry, I know and I'm very sure that the equipment is very expensive. The cameras are very expensive. So I could have wished you to at least do a film using a camera which is within your budget. And at the end of the day, you could have had a story which is well told. And at this particular moment, it doesn't matter the camera which you have. As however, as simple as it may be, I could have encouraged you to just go ahead and know how to do some operations in that camera. And today, I would have wished to talk about the shots. So simply to speak, we have got different types of shots. And when you are doing your film, that is, the moment you master these shots, you blend your work using these shots, it's going to be very easy for the people who are watching, that is your audience, to interpret and even to enjoy the story. In fact, the story, or rather the film or the movie itself, could be very memorable and remain fresh in their minds. And the moment you will be doing other films, they will be in a position to follow you so that they can see and even watch what new things you have brought to them. So to start with, we have got the first one, the first shoot which you can do, and this one is known as the establishment shoot. I mean, sorry, shot. The establishment shot simply, it is the one which covers the whole location in the name of the scene whereby you are going to tell your story. Here, you have identified a specific place which you are going to start telling your story at. And this first shoot, it's not necessary for a main character to be there. The main reason as to why you're going to do it is to cover the scene and introduce us to the place where the story is going to happen. Then from there, we have the next one, which is the second one. We call it a master shot. A master shot, this is a kind of a shot whereby we are covering everything which is in that many people in the scene, but to be more specific, the main character should be in that scene, but it's not necessary for us to identify that character. So perhaps it was a group of people. Among them, there is the main character, and we are not able even to tell what the main character is, perhaps, or maybe we are not majorly in being introduced to the main character. From there, then we can go an extra mile and talk about other types of shoots. This one includes the tracking shoot. A tracking shoot is the one which is very much important when action is taking place. For instance, your main character or the subject is doing an action. Maybe they were fighting, maybe the subject they are fighting, or I'm sorry, they are playing, is moving, is running, is jogging. At this particular moment, you need to just at least do some advancement so that you can be in a position holding your camera steadily to tell the story by following the actions which are being done. Then as we go an extra mile, we also have a two shot. A two shot, for example, this one comes in when, for example, you are having two persons in a certain scene and a given scene, then you just do a close up. You just do a shoot whereby they are being brought out and they are doing a certain action. So this type of shot whereby you are bringing in two characters who are maybe seated somewhere having a dialogue or maybe doing something, that's what we do refer to as a two shot. Then from there we have over the shoulder. If the characters were two, for instance, then you just stand behind one of them, you raise your camera and put it almost at the shoulder of another one so that you can have a clear view of another character's face. That is what we do refer to as the over shoulder shot. Then from there, we have what we call a tight shot. A tight shot is when you just zoom in your camera or bring close your camera to an extent that we are able to see a certain proportion of the head, maybe the face, or you can talk about if you are just taking it from the other side, you are not covering the whole face, but you are covering the specific parts of the face. For instance, this one is much appropriate when someone is crying. We want to bring in the mood of the person, and we want also to show the audience the crying process, that is the tears which are coming down the eyes. Then from there, we have the cutaways. Cutaways, for example, somebody is acting. Maybe you are explaining a story. Maybe, for example, the Form 1 has been brought to the principal because of maybe sneaking bang into school. So during such a case, we can see a Form 1 trembling in the principal's office due to a lot of fear of the biggest mistake he has done. At that particular moment, we could see him perhaps trying to just bringing the hands together because of the trembling process, and is trying to think on how he can at least explain this case to the principal. So the cameras were on the eyes of this boy, but because of the action of the hands and the shaking legs, then you can bring down your camera to focus on that specific part, that is the legs and the hands. Then at this particular moment, we are interested in what's happening on other parts of the body of the boy rather than the face itself. Then by so doing, we can also, those are the cutaways which you can talk about. Then without forgetting, we have the full shot whereby you are going to take the whole parts of the body. Somebody is now being brought on the screen whereby we can see him all the way from the head to the legs. Then from there we have the close-ups. This is when you just cut the person slightly above the waist so that we can be in a position to see the upper part of this person. I want to just believe and confirm that there are several types of shots, but as at now, I want to stop there and wish you the very best. And as the time goes by, we are going to just improve our skills so that the moment we'll be explaining these types of shots in theory, we can also be in a position of showing you on how they look like practically. So at this particular moment, I want to thank you. Until next time, keep on watching Makasaro TV, and you can also go an extra mile and log in into our account. You can like our comment, and in case there are some questions you may wish to ask, you can also uh, put your comments there so that we can get back